Welcome to another Stairway to 7, and God, that last week went by pretty quickly. Um, Happy Thanksgiving at the last time I can save for this year. Um, I'm really at a loss for words on how to really move forward with this, but, you know what? I'm gonna pull a Marge Simpson here.
I'm gonna parcel my anger out over the next few days and weeks, jabbing at you just when you seem the most content.
Because really, that's really how to take this season for the Steelers right now, because is there any real belief that they're going to make the playoffs this year? I know that Mike Tomlin is going to keep talking about his people are going to keep talking about his winning season record. Well, let me tell you something. A couple weeks from now, that's not going to matter. Whether it's going to be against Atlanta or it's going to be against Baltimore or even an upset in Carolina, that thing is ending pretty soon. Like, there is no reason to believe that this team is going to make any leeway going forward with this predictable offense that's so bad. Like, if the guy on the defensive side of the ball is telling you that they can predict every single thing that you're going to do, and you're just like whatever, dude, it's just like they know they're terrible. They know they're terrible. There's just no other way of putting it. They know that they're terrible, and they don't care. So you know what? If you don't give a shit, then I don't give a shit. So, yeah. I really don't think they're going to... I really do not believe they're going to win on Monday. Even if they win, they don't win. Because if they win, you beat the Colts. Not a hard thing to do, honestly, because the Colts have not been that good this year. And if you lose, you become the laughingstock of the league because you let Jeff Saturday beat you. And that game is just going to be so... That game is just going to be so interesting to see just how much ESPN is going to suck off the Colts so badly. With Jeff Saturday, of course. Jeff Saturday, of course, was formerly with ESPN before eventually getting hired as the head coach. It's going to be amazing how they're going to just keep talking about his success, about him and all that. It's going to be like the equivalent of watching the Steelers Patriots game from a couple of years ago when Antonio Brown signed with the Patriots and NBC was just talking about how great the Patriots were. It was literally that, and they had no praise for the Steelers at all. That's what I feel like this game is going to be like. It's going to be a game where Jeff Saturday is going to get a chance to show everybody and all his naysayers that, hey, I'm going to at least do something because, you know, that was a bad hire, but I mean, I'll give him this. He did a lot more with Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor this year than Frank Reich ever did. So, kudos to him. I mean, like, no matter what happens, the Steelers will lose this game. Even if they win, they lose. That's how bad this whole situation is. And even if they, like I said, I'm at a point right now where I'm running on fumes right now because it's just like, if they're not gonna give a shit, why should I give a shit? So. Yeah, I say the Colts are going to win this one, and it's not even like me thinking that it's just the fact that that's just how the season has gone. The Steelers will never change. Even if they play great in one half, they're going to be terrible in the second half, and that's just going to be enough for the other team to come back in, just like what happened last week. I'm not getting my hopes up, and honestly, you shouldn't be getting your hopes up either. Just hope and pray that Carolina and Houston end up winning more games, because at this point, I'm even at the point right now where I strongly believe that the Steelers will take badly to get the first overall pick and pull an Arizona Cardinals. Like, I think they're going to try to get rid of Kenny Pickett if they get the number one pick and go for one of those top quarterbacks. It's crazy to think that, but at this point, it's just like, how can you not even be tempted by that idea at that point? This is what this season has done to me, honestly. This whole season has been nothing but getting my hopes up and then just watching it come tumbling down like a building collapse. It's just like, it's not fun anymore. It's just not fun to watch this season. So, hope for them to start tanking. So, that's pretty much all I got to say, because really, what else do I need to say about this team that hasn't been said already? I mean, yeah, Kenny Pickett can be a good quarterback, but not the way the offense has been playing right now. You need to get him a better offensive coordinator than Matt Canada. The fact that he still has a job after is after all of this is just baffling to me. And even Mike Tomlin looks like he's out of it. Like that loss to the Bengals last week looked like it deflated him so badly. Like I don't know. Like I would not be surprised if he actually leaves if he actually leaves and there's a different coach in 2023, head coach. So that's pretty much all I got for you. So I think the Colts win this one. Let's move on to the predictions. So once again, I did not do very well last week. 7 out of 14. Same as last week, but that's still not very good. And I didn't do too bad on Thanksgiving. I got 2 out of 1. I didn't get the Giants over the Cowboys. Like the Giants, I don't know what happened to them in the second half, but man, did you blow that one. But I did get the Bills. I did get the Vikings. So moving on to the games for tomorrow, I got Tampa Bay over Cleveland. There's really not a whole lot of surprises here. Tennessee over Cincinnati. The Dolphins over the Texans. The Jets over the Bears, despite the fact that they're starting Mike White instead of Zach Wilson. And we still don't know if Justin Fields is going to play tomorrow either. The Commanders over the Falcons, which the Commanders, man, really are coming on. I don't know what's going on there. Probably the worst game on here, the Panthers and the Broncos. I'm going with the Panthers because, let's face it, the Broncos are just as bad right now, just as bad as the Steelers are. I have the upset here. I think Jacksonville beats Baltimore. I think Jacksonville comes out of the bye week and goes on and beats Baltimore. I think that's going to be one of the big surprises for tomorrow. Chargers over the Cardinals. Another tough one to choose here. I'm going with the Chargers. I just think the Cardinals are just out of it right now. Like they're really not going to make a playoff run this year. I'm finally joining the Seahawks bandwagon. I think the Seahawks beat the Raiders. Chiefs over the Rams. That one's not much of a surprise. 49ers over the Saints. Again, not really much of a surprise. Neither is the Eagles over the Packers. I think the Packers are done. And, of course, the Colts over the Steelers. So, those are the picks. Now, here are the local predictions.
Welcome back. It is time for Beat the Bus. Now, going into last week, it was a 3-way tie on the picks for the season. It is not anymore. And as Jerome, as much as it pains for me to tell you this, you dominated last week. You were 5 of 6 correct with a push. I had 3 right. Albie had 2 right. That makes the standings, at least in my opinion, a little painful to look at. You have a slight edge for the moment.
Really good where I'm supposed to be, on top.
It's a slight edge. We'll see what we've got this week. Now we start, of course, with the Steelers Monday night at the Indianapolis Colts. That game right here on Channel 11. The Colts 2.5-point favorites. Is that a fair line?
I think it's a fair line. They're playing at home. It's not quite a 3-point game in terms of the Colts getting 3 points. They're getting 2.5 because the odds makers understand that the Steelers play well in nationally televised games, especially on Monday night. This is going to be a game, I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think the Steelers find a way, kick a field goal, they win it at the end.
You took the words right out of my mouth with the way they play on Monday night, and all 3 of us are taking those 2.5 points and picking the Steelers on Monday Night Football, so we all start out the same.
BetMGM Steelers Kickoff is presented by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Steelers at 3-7, Colts 4, 6-1. Rich, who wins tomorrow night?
The first time I picked the Steelers in a few games now. I think the Steelers are going to win, mainly because of the head coach on the other side, Jerry.
Yeah, Rich, I like the Steelers as well in a low-scoring game. You have 2 of the worst offenses in the league. I like the Steelers in this one. They're due to win 19-7.
Guys,
all right, Charlie, what do you think?
This is going to be an ugly game to watch, and I'm using a little reverse psychology. A couple years ago when I picked the Steelers to lose, they won. So I'm using that philosophy with this pick, Colts 23-13.
I just think it's time for the Steelers to somehow win a game. And it's going to be not pretty. 17-16 somehow, some way. Maybe Matthew Wright with the game winner with no time left on the clock.
So the Steelers actually won. I mean, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to give you a medal or something? This is a team that you probably should have easily beaten. But it's like I said before, man. I mean, in a way, it's kind of a lose-lose situation because the Steelers win. They beat a team they're supposed to beat, but what does that really do for the rest of the year when their schedule when they still look very discombobulated, especially with what happened in the beginning of the second half, I should say. And Okay, let me just start with the negatives first, because really the negatives come from the second half and the fact that the Steelers pretty much did the same thing that they did last week against the Bengals. They let the Bengals come back, and they, for the most part, up until that one good drive they had in the fourth quarter, they really didn't do anything of significance, and they just let the Colts come back in. I mean, if it wasn't for that fumble at the 1 yard line, the Colts probably would have won this game easily. But yeah, that's on Matt Canada again, and I could get mad, but like I said before, just gonna take my anger out over the next few days and weeks, but I will be positive. I will be positive and say that I think tonight Kenny Pickett probably had his best game overall. I mean, he really came up in critical moments, and give him credit though. That last drive at the end, especially when you consider that Najee Harris went out after the first half. Don't know if he's going to be playing for Atlanta next week, but considering that they were able to step up with Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland, I mean, you got to give them credit for it. I mean, that's what they should be doing at this point. I mean, just keep running the football, drain that clock down as much as you can. There were times tonight when Jeff Saturday really did outcoach Mike Tomlin, and there was elements, and it was like, it's the last couple of years, it's hard to watch a Steeler game in the second half knowing that the other team could come back and beat you just like that. And that tonight was another one of those examples. I mean, let's be honest here. The Steelers got lucky at the very end because Jeff Saturday doesn't know how to handle the clock. And, I mean, you saw it, like a good minute came off the clock in that game. And in the final 2 minutes, I should say. And really, I think that was the difference maker that really ended it at the end of the game. But, I mean, what can you say? The Steelers beat a team they should beat. Should do the same thing again next week against Atlanta, but who knows? Who knows? Even though Kyle Pitts isn't playing for them, I still think they're going to keep it. They're just going to run Cordero Patterson all over the field, and that's how they're going to win that. The Falcons will win that game. But, I mean, you won the game. What am I supposed to do? Give you a medal? So that's just really how I have to take the rest of the season. One game at a time and just see what happens. I mean, I doubt they're going to make a playoff push, but it is what it is.